Hello guys, welcome to another video. Today we're going to be looking into how to use Python in order to web scrape a website called Finviz for different stock fundamentals, some news on those stocks, and also information on insider trades that have been reported to the SEC in order to help us make better investment decisions. If you're new to this channel, my name is Silvio. Welcome, thank you very much for joining me, and let's dive into it. So fundamentals are essentially quantitative and qualitative metrics that help us determine the underlying value of a business. These items are very useful when looking into a specific stock to understand what the intrinsic value of that stock is versus the actual price. Things that we are going to be looking into is through this website called Finviz. Here looking specifically at the ticker of Apple. Fundamentals here would be considered all of these that are here listed on this table, things like the market cap of the company, the income, the sales, earnings per share, ROE, ROI, small moving average over 50 days, small moving average over 200 days. All these different items are fundamentals that we would like to ideally look into when making a decision on whether or not the stock has an intrinsic value that we are comfortable with. What we are going to be targeting with our web scraping through Python is going to be specifically this table here for all the fundamentals. We are also going to be targeting this table here for all the news. And we're also going to be looking into this table here, which is showing us different senior directors of Apple and the insider trades that they have reported to the SEC, meaning that they have sold or bought a specific number of shares. And in order to do so, they have to report this via an SEC Form 4 to the SEC. So without further ado, let's get into it. We will start by importing all the necessary libraries that we need from Python for this specific project. We will need pandas as PD to do all our data management. We will also need NumPy as NP to do some data arrangements. We will obviously need Beautiful Soup for our web scraping, and we will also need the request library in order to work with Finviz's URL. So we will start by setting up an input box where we can input the symbol that we want to look up for at Finviz. So let's declare a variable called symbol, and we'll say that symbol is going to be equal to an input, and this input will say enter the ticker you want to search for, and we will print the getting data for plus symbol plus, there we go, and we will add a little space to make sure that we print this and we have it nicely tied up in our console. And we will start. Secondly, we will set up our web scraper. So set up web scraper. We will say that our URL is going to be equal to, and we will grab the URL from Finviz, and we will paste this as a string. As you can see, this ends up with Apple. We don't want this, so we will remove that, and we will dynamically add the ticker that we're looking for. Since we have input above the ticker in our variable symbol, we will add it dynamically to this URL variable. So this will be equal to symbol.lower. Then we will say that our requests is going to be equal to request URL, and headers equals to user agent, and we will use Mozilla Flash 5.0 as the user agent to do the request. We will also say that our website variable is equal to URL open, and we will pass to it our request, and we will read it. There we go. And we will also declare an HTML variable, which will be equal to soup, which is our Beautiful Soup web scraper, and we will pass into it our website, and we will say that this is an HTML parser because it's HTML code that we are scraping. Next, we will split this project into 3 parts because we are essentially looking into scraping the three different tables that we discussed earlier. So the insider trades, the news, and the fundamentals. So we will start by declaring three different functions. So define fundamentals, and we will say pass. We will also say define news, and pass. And we still also define insider trades, and we will say pass. And now we will start by working on our fundamentals function. We will use try and except for error handling. So we will start by saying try, and we will start with finding the table in the HTML codes that has all the fundamentals in it. So we will comment that this section is find fundamentals table in HTML codes, and we will say that the fundamentals variable is going to be equal to pandas.readHTML, and we'll pass the HTML variable that we have passed in above as a string, and we will say that our attributes is going to be equal to class, and we are going to be looking for a class that I have noted down is called snapshot table 2, and we want the index 0 of that table. I can show you where this is coming from. If we go back to the Apple's website, if we go back to FinViz, where we search for the Apple ticker, and we right-click inspect the table, we can see that this table here has a class called snapshot table 2, which is what we will target with our beautiful soup HTML parsing. Next thing we want to do is going to be to clean the data. And let me add here except pass to get rid of the error that we were getting there. And in cleaning the data, we will start by declaring all the columns that we want in our fundamentals variable. These are going to be 12. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So to do that, we say that our fundamentals.columns is going to be equal to a list. And this list will have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. All right. We will declare also an empty variable called column1. This will be the column where we will store all the attributes from all the attribute titles. And in here, we will also need the column length. So col length is going to be equal to len of fundamentals, and we will also want, and now we will use a quick for loop cycle to loop through all the items and retrieve all the attribute titles. So we will say that for I in np.arrange at index 0 to call length 2, we will want to call one.append from our fundamentals at position fi, and we will say that our attributes are going to be equal to pandas.concat call 1, and we will ignore index. There we go. We will have to do the same for our column 2, which is where all the values are gonna come in for each attribute. So we are going to declare call2 as an empty variable, empty list, and we will again use call length, which is equal to length of fundamentals, and we will say that for I in np.arrange, and this time at position 1 to call length 2, call to.append fundamentals at position f of I, And we will say that our values this time is going to be equal to pandas.concat all 2, and we will also ignore index equals true. There we go. We will finish with saying that our fundamentals variable is going to be equal to a pandas data frame, and we will say that fundamentals column attributes is going to be equal to attributes, and our fundamentals values going to be equal to values. Next, we will say that fundamentals will equal to fundamentals set index to attributes, and we will return our fundamentals data frame. Get rid of this dot, just giving a small little error. Here we want to call 2, call length like this, fundamentals like this. There we go. And we will catch our exception as E in order to, if we get an error, print E. And we can store into an empty variable A the return of our fundamentals function to see if everything is working the way we want it. And we want to search for Apple. We press enter. Oh, we're getting an error. Unexpected keyword argument attributes. So this is because this is with an S. So if we execute this now for Apple, we are getting a nice table with our index, our market cap, all the different attributes that we wanted. So let's go to the next function, and we will start by doing a new try and except catch. Here we will pass, and in here we will start by finding the news table. Our news table can be stored in a variable called news, where we pandas.read HTML, and again we will pass in HTML as a string, and our attributes is going to be equal to, again, a class, and the class is called in this instance full view news outer, again at instance 0. And we will store our links from our news, because we can get the date, we can get the news title, but in here each one is a link, just as so. And in order to store these links, we are going to look into the href that these links have. Just like this little piece of information here. Where is it? href, http financyahoo.com. This is the information we also want to retrieve. So in order to do that, we will store these into an empty variable called links, and this for now will be an empty list. We will do a new loop where we say that for I in html.find all, we want to look for every single HTML type A element, and we will look for the class equals tab link news, which is specifically inspect element. Make this smaller. Tab link news class, as you can see here. Yes. Let's close this again and go back. And in our loop, we will say that our links is going to be append at position I, our href. Wait, like this. And then we will want to clean the data. And to clean the data, we will say that our news.columns is going to be equal to a column called date, a column called news headline. All right. And we will say that our news article link column is going to be equal to links, and we will say that news will be equal to news.set index to our date column, and we will return the news. Again, here we can do an except catch with exception as E, and we will print E as well. We can do the same with our news function, so placing here with news, and we execute this now for Apple again, and we get nicely a data frame with the dates, our headlines, and the links that were stored in each of the HTML type A elements. Moving on to our last function, our inside a trace function, we will do a new try and except catch where we pass initially here, and in our try we will try to find the insider trades table, and we will say that our trades is going to be equal to pandas.read HTML and pass again as a string our HTML codes, and our attributes is going to be equal to another class that is called body table this time, and this will be at index 0. Again, we can check that out by right-clicking inspect, and if we look for the table specifically, the class is called body table. Yes, so we are going to look into body table, and we are going to say that our trades.columns is going to be equal to a list, and in here we want the column names of each of these tables. So insider trading, relationship, dates, transaction cost, etc. So we will start by trader, then we will say relationship, date, transaction, the cost, the shares, is number of shares, if I'm not mistaken. Let me see here. Number of shares, correct. Number of shares, value in dollars, what other columns do we have? We had shares total, and SEC form 4. Going on to the next line, we will declare that our trades is going to be equal to trades, and we will try to rearrange our columns in the order that we want them to. We will order it first by date, and then secondly we will want trader. Thirdly, we will want relationship, and we will want transaction, we will want the cost, we will want the number of shares, and we will want the value in dollars. There we go. We're not taking the total amount of shares in the SEC form for the time being. And we will finish this by saying return our trades. Again, here we will accept exception as E, and we'll print our error in case we get one. We will also finish our code with some print statements to print all this information to our console. We will say that print fundamentals ratios is equal to print fundamentals. There we go. And in between, we will take a little print statement, add a little break. We will print recent news and print news, yeah, and add this again, and then we'll print recent insider trades, and we will print insider trades. And there we go. We can remove this, and let's see what this whole block of code gives us. We execute it for Apple and execute the code. We can see we get 3 data tables, one with all attributes in column 1, all the values for each attribute in column 2. We got a second data table which has all the most recent news with the indexed by date, the news headline, and the link for each piece of news. And we have a third table which gives us indexed by date, all the insider trades for this specific company on the number of shares that have been sold. Thank you very much again for watching this video. If you liked it, please help us with the YouTube algorithm by dropping a like or a comment on our video. Please share it with others if you think it was useful. And if you'd like to see more, feel free to hit the subscribe button, and looking forward to seeing you in the next one.